This happened on the 27th to the 28th of February at about 11:30 p.m. I just had my first paranormal experience. Today I went to my friend Matt's house to play some games, watch anime, and read manga. We were the only ones in the house because his parents were on a business trip overseas. I'm 22 and he's 24. When it happened, we were in the basement because my friend's computer is there. There is a staircase that leads to the kitchen from the basement. The kitchen is pretty big and there's a lot of echo, so it distorts the sound a little bit. While we were watching anime, we heard a little noise. It sounded like someone talking, but it only lasted for about half a second. We looked at each other to confirm that we had heard the same thing. We continued to watch anime without paying more attention than that. 30 minutes later, still watching anime, we heard about 3 to 4 heavy footsteps right above us on the first floor. Then we heard a male voice saying something. It sounded like 2 words, and it was coming from the kitchen. My friend and I stared at each other, petrified. We stopped the video, slowly moved towards the staircase, and listened. My heart was pounding pretty hard now. We heard it again. The same 2 words that we had heard earlier. We could clearly hear them this time since we were closer to the staircase. The voice had said, "Hello? Matt?" We were totally freaked out. We thought that it might be a thief, but we didn't hear anyone enter and all the doors were locked. I asked Matt, "Is this your dad?" "No," he answered. My friend grabbed a rifle and said that we should just scare him with the unloaded gun. I said that this was unnecessary because there were 2 of us. Loudly, we said, "Hello? Is anyone here?" But we got no response. We decided to go upstairs without the rifle and looked around for the intruder. We didn't find anyone on the first floor, and searching elsewhere produced similar results. All of the doors were locked and no one was outside. We tried to figure out what could have caused the sounds of the footsteps and the voice we heard, but we couldn't find anything. The house is also pretty new, so it shouldn't be haunted. I'm someone who doesn't really believe in all that stuff. To believe something, I need to experience it or have proof, but I think this convinced me. My mom and dad have both told me their sides of this story, and this is a combination of the 2. My mom and dad were watching a British TV show called Most Haunted. I, being the 3-year-old I was sleeping on the couch next to them. One of the in-house clairvoyants was talking about how he felt the energy of a young child who was sad. At that moment, I sat up, turned to my mom and said, "Mom, can you give Alex his ball back?" She turned to me and looked me dead in the eyes with both fear and confusion. She then turned to my dad, who was sitting in the same state, when he gave her a nod and told her to just listen to me. She asked me, "Where is Alex's ball?" I pointed over to the fireplace near the couch. She once again turned to my dad, and he just gave her the nod. She stood up and picked up the ball, and then said, "Where's Alex?" I then pointed to the far corner of the room next to the entrance of our kitchen. My mom for a final time looked at my dad, and he gave her the nod. She walked to the corner and gave the ball to Alex. I then said, "Thank you, Mommy," and fell back asleep. My mom sat back down in complete confusion. Then the clairvoyant on the TV came back on, and he said, "The child, a boy, Alexander. He lost his toy, but he found it. He's happy again," or something along those lines. Both my parents sat there with their jaws in their laps, paralyzed with confusion and fear of their child. I remember nothing of these events. This isn't so much a story as it is a compilation of experiences. My dad is a clairvoyant, and he always said that there were a few ghosts that lived in our house. I still live there to this day. Among the cats and the short happy man skipping around in love and rejoicing, there was the bitch, as my dad so affectionately called her. We know nothing about her, but I have seen her on multiple occasions. When I am climbing the stairs, I sometimes see a woman with a tight bun standing at the end of the narrow hallway leading to our kitchen. A few times I have seen her standing directly in front of my window when I am walking to the house, kind of like the scenes from The Woman in Black. I know it's not possible for someone to stand in front of the window because I have a TV stand directly in front of it. The stand is pushed up against my radiator, making it impossible to stand in front of the window. Plus, it's too heavy to move in time for someone to stand there. Another place these experiences happen is on the staircase. Often we will be pushed down the stairs. You can feel yourself being lifted off the step and thrown down the stairs. You often land at the bottom without touching any other steps. My mom was pushed down the stairs and she fell with such a force that her knee gave out and she tore some things. I'm not sure exactly what. I have seen my sister's feet come cleanly from under her as if someone cuts off her feet from the ankle and she just falls. Even my best friend Duncan has experienced a very nasty fall on my stairs. His ankle was twisted so severely that we thought it was broken. I have personally felt my entire body weight being pushed against the wall, making me fall over. I have been picked up and thrown and landed on the bottom step of our stairs. So, the name my dad gave her is quite reasonable. My dad refuses to go upstairs because of her. He is legitimately afraid of her. I'll probably be pushed down the stairs again sometime soon. First off, I need to tell you some background information. When my mom and dad bought the house I was living in when I saw these ghosts, the previous owners were kinda rushed to get out of there. I guess they were a bit mad that we forced them out so quickly. When the family was leaving the house for the last time, the wife said, "Watch out for the man in the attic." She may have just said that to plant the seed into my parents' head and make them paranoid. Or maybe she'd had paranormal experiences in that house as well. I really don't know. This house was nice and big and was in a great neighborhood. I lived there from when I was about 6 to 12 years old. Every time I would walk down the halls, I would get a sense that someone was watching me from behind or that someone was really close behind me. Now, for the sightings, I had 2 experiences in that house, and I was 10 during both. In my first experience, I was sleeping on the couch in the living room, as I would often not want to sleep in my room. About 3 feet away from the couch was a coffee table that ran parallel with the couch. On this night, I randomly woke up and opened up my eyes. Right in front of me, I saw this figure on the coffee table, nodding its head left to right. I saw it for a brief second, so I couldn't really make out any details, just a general outline. I was pretty sketched out, but not too afraid. The second experience happened while I was sleeping on the couch once again. The couch was in a slightly different position, and this time I was sleeping on my back. Again, I suddenly woke up. Leaning over the back of the couch looking at me was a black figure. I saw it for a split second, and then it was gone. I don't know if what I saw was really a ghost because both instances happened when I suddenly awoke. Maybe it was my mind playing tricks on me, who knows. My first weird experience happened when I was 3 or 4. I remember my mom leaving for the grocery store, which was just around the corner from our house. My dad was outside in the yard. There was an older lady in the house with me that wouldn't talk to me but kept me company while my mom was gone. Only, I was supposed to be alone in that house. Mom turned the house upside down when she got back because she thought some stranger had come into the house while she was out. I remembered the lady very vividly. As my mom and I were talking about it when I was older, maybe 7, I described the lady to my mom. She broke down into tears and told me the lady that I described sounded like my grandma. She had died the year before I was born. At the beginning, I said weird experience because I'm not totally convinced that maybe I didn't see a picture of her and then my mind made her seem real when I was alone so I wouldn't be afraid. It all seems really hazy looking back. I was 16 when I experienced the first thing that I can almost say with 100% certainty was paranormal. I was homesick from school and fell asleep on the couch. I woke up and could see an orb of light slightly above and to the left of me towards my feet. I thought maybe something was going on because I was sick, but when I moved, so did the orb. I was so scared I couldn't move. I just sat up and watched it hover around for a bit. Then I couldn't take it anymore. I bolted for the door, and when I looked behind me, it was gone. Now, as an adult, things are happening to me more frequently that I can't explain. It's everything from hearing footsteps in my house — my husband ran out of the bedroom with a gun the other night because he finally heard it too — to having things pop into my head that really don't feel like my own thoughts. For example, coming home from Thanksgiving, I was filled with a horrible dread that our house had gotten broken into. It bothered me so much that I actually said it out loud to my husband. When we got home, I was relieved to see that our house and our stuff was in one piece. It didn't stay that way for long, though. At 10 the next morning, I got a call from the police. Someone had kicked in our back door and ransacked our house. Thankfully, the police caught 2 of them, but one got away. I need help to understand what I'm experiencing. I don't know if I'm sensitive or if it's something else entirely. Most of the time it doesn't scare me, but sometimes I'm downright terrified. I think that mostly it's the feeling of not being alone even when I'm very alone. Can someone offer me insight or help?